I've done DreamWorks, I've done Pixar, Disney, it's your turn. Yes, Disney, it is your turn. It's time to rank all 63 movies you have. You might be wondering, how is this video so short? You're ranking 63 movies. Surely the video has to be an hour long. Well, I don't want to film an hour-long video and then edit it, and I'm sure you guys don't want to sit through an hour-long video either. So, what I've done, I'm going to talk about the movie for as short as possible. I'm not going to do my normal 1 minute long per movie. I'm going to talk about the movie as short as possible. I will try not to talk about the movie for longer than 10 seconds. I will try not to go above 10 seconds. I'm going to try to talk about the movie under 10 seconds. So basically, for you guys that like to skip through the video and see what I have at every single spot on the list, basically as long as it takes you to do that is how long I'm going to talk about each movie for. Another thing, this only includes the Walt Disney movies from the animated studio. Everything that has this intro ahead of it is what's on this list. So stuff like the straight-to-DVD sequels or other animated movies that doesn't have this, then it's not on this list because it's technically not part of this studio. But without further ado, let's rank all 63 movies. The worst movie of the World War II era for Disney. Shorts don't have anything to do with each other, and it's just extremely boring. The movie that started the World War II era for Disney, and it's just an anthology movie. And this one started off a whole trend of others that all suck. Now the characters do make it just a tad bit more entertaining, but it's still as boring as the rest. It's another World War II Disney movie with no plot. Now this is a hot take, I know, but for me, I never liked Fantasia. Now I do agree, there is some good pieces in here, but the whole thing is just music. This is the type of movie that shows up in the World War II era of Disney, like the movies I previously mentioned. I understand that some people think that this movie is a classic, but I just think it's a bunch of shorts told with music and nothing special. I can describe this movie in one word: boring. Lazy writing, lazy songs, and is boring. This is probably the worst possible way you could celebrate your 100th year anniversary. The credits of this movie is better than the entire movie itself, because it actually celebrates the 100 years of Disney. For how much people say this movie was a disaster for Disney, it's not the worst thing ever made. I also do think that Disney could remake this movie into live action and make it significantly better. Take everything you loved about the first movie and take it all away, then you have Moana 2. Mickey was so popular that they reused the same short in this movie. Overall, my thoughts for this movie are the exact same as the first one. This one's just better because it's shorter and I don't have to sit through a 2-hour movie of just anthology shorts. These two shorts on their own are a bit more enjoyable than most of the World War II stuff. Wasn't as bad as I remember, but come on. This is not an enjoyable movie. Now this movie's interesting because it's a banned Disney movie. Just from one short in here that I didn't think that was that bad that it needed to be banned. Now this movie's also frustrating because I want to give it a higher rating because there's some shorts in here that I absolutely love, but the shorts I don't like. When watching this movie, I was expecting to hate watch it. I found myself enjoying it for the most part, but got boring near the end. This is probably the best Disney movie of the World War II era. Both shorts are good, but I don't see myself ever coming back to this. For the movie that saved Disney, it's not my thing. Not one of my favorite things. When you think of Disney, this is not the movie that comes to your mind. An easily forgettable movie. The movie that everyone forgot about. The frustrating thing about Bolt is I remember it being a lot better. Certainly not my favorite. Almost feels like there's two different stories. Slow at the start, then has a rushed plot. This was a first time watch for me. I found it to be a big surprise, but it does slow down here and there. Yes, it's generic, but it's fun. But why should I worry about that? It was boring here and there, but overall fine. But I am extremely worried for Frozen 3 and 4. because this one did start to slow down, so can they keep that up, or can they improve on that? It was better than the first, but still has a few flaws for it being released in the Renaissance era of Disney. I still don't understand of any story you could have told with Wreck-It Ralph, and just video games in general, you pick Ralph going to the internet and creating a virus there. I've seen this movie so many times in the past 3 years, but I still find it to be hilarious and heartfelt. Another underrated movie. Time travel is my thing, hence another time travel movie. This is a huge guilty pleasure of mine. Geppetto declares that Pinocchio has to go to school less than 24 hours he was alive. The origin of the slasher villain. Lady and the Tramp mixed with 101 Dalmatians, but with cats. A good start to Disney, but most of the movie is just characters dancing and singing without progressing the plot. Filler is a good example, but the main plot and songs are enjoyable. Definitely the best Winnie the Pooh movie in my opinion. I know some people think that this movie is a Disney classic. I'm not up there. I still have a heart for it, and we get a live-action remake of it soon, so I'm curious to see how that turns out. A movie that became sad really fast. I see how people love this movie, but I kept comparing it to the remake. I think some decisions in the remake are better than the decisions in here. A classic movie, but could have a better plot and a longer story. I enjoyed it until the last 20 minutes, because the last 20 minutes lost me. After 10 years of movies like Home on the Range, Disney finally decided to return to the fairy tale genre. I felt like the movie slowed down when they were saving Prince Philip's, but that's only for like 5 minutes of the movie. Everything else is good until that moment. When I first watched this movie, I absolutely loved it and was obsessed with it. On the rewatch, it doesn't land as much, but I still enjoy it. Just don't talk about Bruno. Huge underrated gem. I don't see a lot of people talk about this movie when, if you have not seen this movie, I highly encourage you to watch this movie. Best movie to compare it to is Tarzan. Who else has a birthday today? I wonder what great ideas they could do for a sequel. There's no possible way you can mess up a sequel with all the video game ideas and all the IPs that you could venture off to. What bad idea could they do for the sequel? Cruella is such a wicked villain. Still holds up to this day.
You broke my smolder.
Another classic. Again, another classic. When is it time we get a sequel to this? Or at least a live-action remake of it? Everything but the twist at the end I did like, because the twist was obvious, and then the villain motivation was pretty weak. Compared to some of the earlier Renaissance era movies, this one is a dip in quality, but I still think it holds its own ground. Always was a classic to me, but Hans is not a great villain, but you have to let it go sometimes. A lot funnier than I remembered. Some of Disney's best music in a long time. It's also funny how I have Moana in the top 10, but Moana 2 in the bottom 10. This is just the best part of this movie. Whose idea was it to take him out of the live-action remake? Very dark. This is a very dark movie. We're finally getting a sequel next year. Disney should remake this into live action. A lot they could do. The start to the best era of Disney, and still holds up to this day. This movie is a whole new world. Still is a tale as old as time. A perfect story that will never be bad, no matter what you do to it, except to make the animals have no emotions, like 2019 did. Hey, that's just a circle of life. With that was all 63 Walt Disney Animated Studio movies ranked. So that, if you're up for the challenge, leave yours in the comment section below. Thanks for watching, and if you like this video, maybe leave those on the side of interest you too. Like, subscribe, and see you guys next time. Goodbye.